season is coming soon, and you can be ready with 17-17-17 fertilizer and 10-10-10 fertilizer, K31 Fescue, and 5-Star Turf Fescue. Make Oakland Feed and Seed your first stop because they have it all. Oakland Road, Spindale.
We'll have a mixture of sunshine and some periods of high cloudiness around the area today with a mild southwesterly breeze setting in. Look for highs about 67 to 73. Should be fair to partly cloudy tonight, not as cool as recent nights. We'll have lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s. Then on Thursday, we'll range between partly and mostly cloudy. It'll be breezy and warmer tomorrow. A slight chance of an afternoon or evening shower. Highs tomorrow around 70 to 76. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Here's the start of a beautiful morning here in the foothills. Mostly sunny today with highs around 72 here in the area. Gusting winds up to about 16 miles per hour. We're starting out at 41. And tonight we're going up higher than we are right now. 54 for the overnight low tonight and partly cloudy. Just perfect weather for the goblins and the ghosts to be running around the neighborhood. So please watch out for them tonight and be generous with your candy. 41 degrees here at WCAB in Rutherfordton. Now we'll have these death announcements. Linda K. Good, age 74, of Ellenboro, died Saturday, October 27th at Peak Resources in Shelby. The funeral service will be conducted at 1 o'clock today at Walls Baptist Church with Reverend David Philbeck and Reverend Roger Overton officiating. Burial will follow in Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Linda K. Good. James Donald Connor, age 73, of Union Mills, died Saturday at Hospice House of the Carolina Foothills in Forest City. The graveside service will be at Grace Tabernacle Church Cemetery at 2 o'clock today with Reverend Terry Honeycutt officiating. Burial will be at Grace Tabernacle Church Cemetery, Adler Trail, Union Mills. Magnahan's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for James Donald Connor. Francis McKinney Hawk, age 66, of Forest City, died Saturday, September 29th. A memorial service will be held Thursday, the first day of the month, at 5:30 in the Paget and King Chapel, and the family will receive friends following the service at Paget and King Chapel. Again, that's Francis McKinney Hawk. Chief Master Sergeant Robert Leroy Wilkerson, age 83, of Panama City, Florida, died Saturday, October 20th. Funeral services will be held 3 o'clock Friday, November 2nd in the Bethany Baptist Church with Reverend Matthew Johnson and Reverend Rick Blackaby officiating. Burial will follow in the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Cemetery. Visitation will follow the committal service in the cemetery. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Chief Master Sergeant Robert Leroy Wilkerson. Lucy May Hopper Johnson, age 90, of Rutherfordton, died Monday at her residence in Rutherfordton. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 o'clock Friday, November 2nd at McMahon's Funeral Home. The memorial service will be 2 o'clock Friday at McMahon's Funeral Home Chapel with Reverend Michael Flack officiating. Burial of the urn will be at Southern Baptist Church Cemetery. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Service in charge of the arrangements for Lucy May Hopper Johnson. Danny R. Fowler, 69, of Rutherfordton, died Sunday, October 28th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The family will receive friends from 12 until 2 on Saturday, November 3rd at the Harrelson Funeral Home. Graveside service will follow at 3 o'clock in Broad River Baptist Church Cemetery with military honors being accorded by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Harrelson Funeral Home and Cremation Service has been entrusted with the arrangements for Danny R. Fowler of Rutherfordton. Those are the death announcements we have this morning in-house. For the complete information on these, be sure to listen in this morning at 11:30 or this afternoon at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report for the complete information on these and others as they become available to us right here at the most information for the foothills, WCAB.
Another migrant caravan traveling to our southern border from El Salvador, and a third caravan, this one from Guatemala, is also on its way. Meanwhile, open border activists are furious that President Trump plans to send the military down there to protect the border. Now, one of these groups is the National Immigration Law Center, which fought the president's travel ban. They say that if Trump sends 5,000 troops down there, they're going to use every tool they can to stop him from supposedly undermining the Constitution and international law. They're calling his plans to secure the border a race-driven cruelty. But here's what is actually cruel: encouraging migrants to push into America and spinning it as a racial issue. The real issue is the rule of law. Speaking of which, international law doesn't matter a hill of beans. It doesn't supersede American law. And as for the Constitution, President Trump has a constitutional duty to protect the borders, and he takes it seriously, as this invasion force of caravans is soon going to find out. Trump's setting up a tent city. He's going to put them all in there while they wait for asylum. I hope he has Sheriff Arpaio run the place. Cyber criminals, cyber bad guys can attack your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone without you even knowing. Or they can steal your identity, and you may not realize it until it's too late. That's why LifeLock Identity Theft Protection now includes the power of Norton Security to help protect your identity and your devices. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to help detect a range of threats to your identity. And Norton Security protects against online threats like ransomware or malware. And if there is a problem, LifeLock with Norton has agents who will work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton Security provides more detection and more protection against cyber threats. Go to lifelock.com or call 800-440-4833. Use the promo code RUSH for an additional 10% off your first year, plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Terms apply.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
We all make promises, big and small, tested over time and distance, tried by circumstances and decisions.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I do solemnly swear to bear true faith and allegiance.
To help you when you're in need.
To tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
To be considerate and caring. Courageous and strong.
For better.
For worse.
In sickness and in health.
To love and cherish.
To be your loving, faithful friend.
Partner.
Child. Parent.
Neighbor.
One of our most important commitments is to support our nation's veterans. Learn how you can help a veteran going through a difficult time by visiting MakeTheConnection.net.
Get all your deer season supplies at Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply. Cheryl deer corn, $7 for a 50-pound bag. Deer cob corn, $8 per bag. Deer apples, $9 a bag. Peanut deer mix, $12.99 for a 50-pound bag. And Farmer's Friend has a deer condo stand with legs for $17.21.98. For all your farming needs and supplies, let Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply be your go-to store. 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherford.
You know, some people are hard to buy for at holiday time, Christmas time, but if you'll go by Henson's, you'll find the perfect gift for that man in your life or lady. Matter of fact, they've got a new selection of Rocky boots in over there in 3 styles with a great price on them. And these prices will last this low as long as the supplies last. You need to get over there before the end of the month in November, and they will give you these prices, low prices, as they are available right now. So hurry up. They got the short boot, they've got the long boot, but this sale will end November 30th while supplies last at Henson. Also, if you've got someone who in your family that enjoys things for pucking around the house a little bit, they've got all kinds of supplies over there, screws to PPG paint and Cabot stain. You've got a lot of supplies at Henson that'll make great gifts for people. Jamie and Terry have worked at Henson's for over 10 years, and they can help you get what you need. If it's hard to find, let them work their magic for you. It'll be fun to go in and walk out with a bag full of things that to be just perfect for that gift giving. Doorbuster sales and special pricing runs each month, also all month long. While you're there, be sure you check on that Traeger grill. Yep, that's at Henson's, Duke Street, Forest City.
It was the summer of 1862. A small group of anglers started a settlement in the Kootenai area of Montana, and soon after they discovered gold. When gold was also discovered in nearby streams, tens of thousands of miners started arriving in the area. In 1864, 4 miners on their way to the Montana goldfields saw some gold in a stream. Eager to get up to the mining area, they continued, but they had no luck. Remembering the gold they had seen in the stream, they decided to give it a last chance. When it turned out to be a rich deposit of placer gold, they staked their claim and named their mine Last Chance Gulch. Their mine turned out to be the second largest gold deposit in Montana. The 4 miners realized there was an opportunity to add to their riches by providing the miners with food, lodging, and supplies. So on October 30, 1864, they established a town nearby and named it Helena. Eventually the gold in the area gave out. But as we all know, Helena didn't disappear like most towns of its type. This was because Helena was located on several major transportation routes. There was also nearby agricultural opportunities looking for a market, and Helena was close to other mining towns. So Helena was able to continue its growth until eventually in 1875 it became the capital of Montana Territory, and then in 1894 the state capital. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Now it's 17 minutes after 7. We'll go into the phones now. We'll get started with our call around the county to find out what's been going on overnight in the past 24 hours. Deputy Lancaster's on the phone with me right now from the Sheriff's Department to get us started. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing fine, thanks. Tell us what's been going on with the Sheriff's Department.
Past 24 hours, had 131 calls for service, 12 arrests, and 179 currently in the jail. As far as incident reports go, we have a breaking and entering, a larceny after breaking and entering, reported by Laura Gallman of the Creek Road area in Ruffton. She's reporting that prescription medication, diamond stud earrings, and a yellow gold ring with a diamond setting was stolen. We have a breaking and entering of a motor vehicle, larceny after breaking and entering, a misdemeanor larceny, reported by Marcus Gaines Ledford of the Old Caroline Road area. He's reporting that his truck was broke into, and it had a Samsung Galaxy S3 watch stolen, a motorcycle key and key fob, and a Morphe battery pack. As far as arrests go, we have Javier Jose Afanador arrested for larceny of a motor vehicle, failure to appear on misdemeanor. He had a $8,500 secured bond. Brent William Cook was arrested for communicating threats. He has a $500 unsecured bond. Tori Lynn Hines was arrested for misdemeanor larceny and second-degree trespass, $500 secured bond. Jamie Helen Morrow was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor and failure to comply. She has a $1,895 bond. That's all I've got.
Well, I'm sure you guys will be out in force tonight, making sure everybody's safe doing the Ghosts and Goblins rendezvous around the area tonight with Halloween. I'm sure you'll be out there keeping guard on things. You be careful yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Save-A-Lot Grocery, White Oak Plaza, Spindale has hundreds of super low prices on most of your favorite name brand items. They have 500 plus prices lowered across the entire store. Stock up on fresh meats, produce, frozen foods, snack foods, and your favorite beverages and pastries. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 9, Sunday, 10 to 8. Save-A-Lot Grocery, White Oak Plaza, Spindale.
And this one-day special only at Save a Lot also. Today only. Thick-cut center pork chops, $1.49 a pound. One day only. Sell today at Save a Lot in the White Oaks Plaza. And here is Marie with 911 Communications Center with our report today. Marie, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report?
Okay, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Centers processed 508 911 administrative calls, which consisted of 39 for EMS, 28 for rescue. For law enforcement, the Sheriff's Department had 131, Forest City had 70, Lake Lure had 8, Ruston had 13, Spindle had 29. For fire calls, Ellenborough responded to a structure fire assisted by Bostic and Forest City. Sandy Must responded to motor vehicle accident. Rutherford responded to motor vehicle accident. Forest City responded to motor vehicle accident. And that's all I have for this morning.
Thanks, Marie. Have a good day.
Thank you, too.
Bye.
Gregory's Original Restaurant in the Park Lane Plaza is the perfect dining choice of Rutherford County. Greg offers all your favorite dishes. Try their delicious subs, grinders, pasta, chicken, burgers, fresh garden salads, and the most delicious steaks served with mushroom gravy or peppers and onions. Be sure to call on Gregory's for all your catering needs at 287-2171. Check out the website for menus and event information, www.gregorysoriginal.com. Gregory's in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton.
And be sure you join Gregory Saturday night on his new program called Rebel Yell right here on WCAB, 9 to 11 Saturday nights. Enjoy the music of the 80s with Greg. You can call in your favorite 80s song at 287-3356 during that time. And that's Rebel Yell with Greg Hayes, Saturday nights, 9 to 11 p.m. here on 100.9 FM. And here's Ruby Taylor with the report from Danieltown, SDO. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, the fire department didn't have anything. I don't have a birthday. And the signs are in the Heart today and going to the Heart tomorrow. Jim, it's quiet.
That's good. I like to hear that. Thanks, Ruby. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
When you want some sound facts about better hearing, I can recommend you go to Miracle Ear Genius 2.0. See Lisa Terry at Miracle Ear. Millions of satisfied Miracle Ear customers worldwide have been satisfied with this Miracle Ear. There's no better respected or well-known brand in hearing aids than Miracle Ear. Why don't you schedule your free hearing test by calling 828-368-4126. You may want to ask about the Miracle Ear Genius 2.0 with the advanced technology. The high-def sound quality adapts to your surroundings automatically. Zeroes in on conversations while reducing distracting background noise. It prevents those embarrassing whistling sounds that can occur sometime. There's so many features you'll appreciate about the Miracle Ear. Ask Lisa Terry about it when you have ready for that positive change in your hearing. Get that free hearing test, no obligation whatsoever. That phone number again is 368-4126. 368-4126.
43 years experience behind the name, voted best of best 8 years. That's why folks depend on Hutchins Pest Control. You can call on Tim and his team for moisture control, waterproofing, mold remediation, air quality control, dehumidification, and of course, pest control, rats, fire ants, termites, wildlife removal, and so much more. Call them today for your free estimate. 287-5171. Get the job done by the professionals and relax. Hutchins Pest Control, honest, dependable, and on-time service.
Now let's check in with Steve up at Rumbling Balls. See what's happening. Steve, you got your Halloween mask on, I can tell.
I do. My philosophy is, why hand out candy when you can get candy? So
it's pretty good philosophy. I like that.
I got this idea where I can, that song from the 80s from Bow Wow, I Want Candy. I was going to put it on a continuous loop and walk around the neighborhood and hold up my bag. Maybe I'll reduce the number of rocks that get thrown in my bag this year. Run me out of the neighborhood. But nevertheless, I haven't ever been visited in the 15 years that we've been here. We're so deep in the woods. But we always have candy ready just in case a spook comes in. Anyway, we're on normal mode here, not much going on. I do have a announcement to make. This Saturday, the Alliance Club is putting on we're sponsoring a spaghetti dinner at the Bills Creek Community Center, and it's don't have the address, but most people around here know where it's at, off of McDaniel Road. It's adults $10, children 6 to 10 $5, and children under 5 get to eat free. And it's the 6th year they've done this, and it's a very worthy cause. As you know, the Lions Club, 100% of the donations go to where the intended targets. So that's a good charity. So we're happy that they're doing this every year, and I want to make a visit up there myself.
Good.
So we're good there. As far as other activities, it's just been normal go here. We're just moving along. We're going to close our Ball Mountain Golf Course the 11th for the remainder of the year, and try to get it in shape. We're opening on the weekends right now, but the Apple Valley Golf Course will stay open. So other than that, that's pretty much where we are.
All right, Steve, I appreciate the report, and you be safe up there and have a great day.
Okay, Jim.
See you now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 7:26 tonight on our schedule. We have Pit Reporters. That's 7 o'clock live tonight. That's the Pit Reporters. They sit around and talk about NASCAR, who's doing what and why. And then it's ACC tonight at 8 o'clock, prime time in the ACC. They sit around and talk about what's happening in the ACC and why. All right here, exclusively on WCAB. At McCurry Deck Motors, you can browse a selection of vehicles that includes all of the top models in Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC lineups. The McCurry Deck Motors lineup of vehicles checks all the boxes, ensuring that they will have the perfect vehicle for any car shopper that visits their lot. Come visit and see what's in store for you and your family with the McCurry Deck quality reputation of fair deals and customer service. Try the Chevy. Find new roads with Chevy. At McCurry Deck Motors, we're the home of Chevy, Buick, and GMC. 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. Bob Hodge is our next reporter. He's up at the Hudlow Fire District with our Wednesday morning report. Bob, good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, doing just fine on this here Halloween morning.
Boy, it is. It's kind of scary out there already.
That's right. I'm looking, let's see, 37 degrees on my thermometer here this morning.
That's cool.
Chilly this morning out there. But looks like it's going to warm up nice so for the kids later on this evening. So looks like the weather's going to cooperate pretty good there for
should be
Halloween.
Nice. Yeah.
So everybody just be careful driving around and later on this evening when the kids starts getting out. So got to watch out for them. So they'll be running around everywhere there. But the fire department will be giving out treats so this evening and for the kids. And up here with the fire department during the night is quiet. We had no fire calls during the night. I want to say happy birthday to Rusty McMillan this morning. And Jim, that's about it. Things are right along good, and you take care, and I hope you have a good day today.
Well, thank you, Bob, and listen, don't eat too much candy now.
Oh, we'll try not to.
All right. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
But you too now.
All right, Bob. See ya.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bob Hodge reporting out of the Hudlow Fire District this morning. I always love to talk with Bob Hodge. Well, at Southern Carpet, you can get what you need in floor covering and be satisfied with how they treat you. It's a friendly, family-owned business. Gerald Lane and Clayton Tawney striving to share a little bit of Southern hospitality with every flooring job they do for people. Here in Rutherford County and surrounding areas, they build a great reputation on honesty and above-board activities and good quality service. You can get what you look for. Residential and commercial in carpets, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, sheet vinyl. The Turkette flooring is absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful and resilient. Ask about that when you visit them. At 1512 West Main Street, Foss City, 28043. That phone number is 828-245-0310. That would be Southern Carpet, y'all.
It is so easy to keep your car running clean when you visit RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash. The RS Speedy Lube can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids, vacuum out the car, pull next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers. Then pull next door to the RS Speedy Lube Automatic Car Wash. Make your car feel clean all under and all over. It's possible at RS Service Center and Speedy Lube Car Wash, Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton.
All right, here is Sue Price now with the Cherry Mountain Fire District report for us on this Hump Day Wednesday. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
How are things over in your neighborhood?
Well, as far as I know, everything's been quiet. Hadn't had any calls from the fire department, but that's a good thing, and I'm looking for a good day. It's 41 degrees over here when I started out this morning, so not too bad out there, and it's going to warm up. The kids will have a good night tonight to get out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of them are going to be at churches because a lot of churches are doing stuff now to keep them safe, and that's a good thing, too.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Well, let's see. I have no birthdays or anniversaries on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I got an anniversary for Drew and Kim Tomberlin. Fairview's got birthdays for Walt Brumnett, Austin McCurry, and Heidi Ledford. So I hope all those folks are going to have a good day. And nothing on First Broad, so not too many celebrating over here, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And in my announcements, First Broad Baptist Church will be having trunk or treat at 5 o'clock today. And Fairview is having a fall festival, and that starts at 6. So a couple of churches over this way that the kids can get some treats and have some fun. And so far, that's the only announcements I have, Jim. It's just quiet and calm, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks very much, Sue. You enjoy your day as well. I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Right, bye-bye. It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide daycare services for an aging parent or loved one. Rutherford Life Care can be just what you're looking for. Rutherford Life Care offers adults a safe and fun place during the day for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and daily activities. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. Call them today and let them answer questions you may have. That's 288-1697, 288-1697. Rutherford Life offers a staff of professionals who show the love and compassion that you entrust your loved ones to. That's Rutherford Life Care Services, located on Thunder Road, Spindale. Again, that phone number is 288-1697. Now, we have a lot of sports scheduled for you this weekend, starting with Friday night. Our game of the week, high school game of the week, as the season, the regular season comes to an end. Union Academy at Thomas Jefferson, 6:45. That's the countdown time, and that's our game of the week. Chase will be taking on RS Central at Central, and East at East Gaston. East at East Gaston Friday night as well. And that'll be the final game of the regular season. And some of them, at least a couple of them, will be going into postseason play into the playoffs. We'll follow that with you as well. Now on Saturday, UNC versus Georgia Tech, 10 a.m. countdown, and the O'Reilly Auto Parts 300 from Texas Motor Speedway at 4 o'clock. And then on Saturday night at 9 o'clock, it's Rebel Yell with Greg Hayes. Rock music time, 9 until 11. On Sunday, it's the Panthers in Tampa Bay at 12 noon, and the AAA Texas 500 Texas Motor Speedway at 2 o'clock. I will join that as soon as the Carolina Panthers are finished playing. A lot of sports activity this weekend right here exclusively on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. Right now we are heading up toward Union Mills to get the Kelly report. From Brenda, good morning, Brenda.
Well, good morning. How are you on this Halloween morning?
Boo.
Boo.
You ready for it?
I am. Well, I'm going to go down to my daughter's, then we're going to go down to the church and see what's going on there.
Good.
So we'll have a lot of fun, I'm sure.
It's always fun to do that, but everybody's getting together like churches do the trunk or treat now.
Yeah.
Get together with the church groups. We've done that. I've done that a few times. Not able to do it this year, but It's always fun. It keeps the kids a little safer when they can come to a church group like that and pass.
It does. Or to a community building. I know I've done that last year at Union Mills. I went and helped pass out candy, but I'm going to go down to the church this year. So, but that's all right, ain't it?
It is, sure.
But we hope everybody's having a good morning. I've got 36 degrees on the front porch, birthdays and anniversaries today. I've got Leah Buckley, Mark Crane, and Joanne Airwood, and anniversary Tony and Tammy Hefner. And I don't have any on the round here, so we hope all these people have a great old big day on their special day. And in ways of announcement, they'll have treats for the children at the Union Mills Community House tonight. That starts at 5 p.m. Then we got a singing for the food pantry at Dyersville Baptist Church at 6 p.m. on November the 2nd. They'll have refreshments afterwards. And then from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 this afternoon, Trick or Treat, Gilkey School Community Center. They'll have games and food for the children. And then Harvest Festival, October 31st, 6:30 p.m. to 8, and this is at Far City Church of the Nazarene. They'll have all kind of things for the children and grown-ups too. And then Mountain Creek Baptist Church is going to have their bazaar November the 3rd from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. They'll have breakfast, lunch, and they'll have canned soup for sale. Then Palmer City United Methodist Church on Palmer City Road in Union Mills will be having all-you-can-eat spaghetti supper on Saturday, November the 3rd, begins at 4 p.m. and goes until. That'll be spaghetti with homemade sauce, plain or mushroom, garlic bread, full salad bar, dessert and drink. Adults $8, children $3, under age 5 eat free. They'll have takeout plates available, and proceeds go to support the church. Then Union Mills Learning Center on Hudlow Road in Union Mills on Friday, November the 2nd, 7 p.m. They'll be featuring Rough Cut. Meal beginning at 6 p.m. Cost of the meal is $5. Soup and sandwich, dessert and drink. Music begins at 7 p.m. and they have a tip jar available for the band. And then Friends for a Cure Against Cancer Relay for Life inside yard sale date November the 3rd, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Location Dyersville Community Building on Clubhouse Road between 226 South and Bane Mountain Road. Individual yard sale spots available for $10 to rent. This goes to the community club. Call Linda at 652-7056 to reserve. And I think that's got me covered.
A lot of covering there.
I'm telling you, we get busy now and then, don't we?
Well, this is the last day of the month, so tomorrow morning when we talk, it'll be next month.
I know it. It just flew by, hadn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, of course, we change our time on Sunday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
Right? So.
I don't like time changes. I wish they would just pick one and stay with it. It takes me about 6 weeks to get used to it.
Yeah. I like the fall back time better than I do the roll spring forward time.
Well, I like the daylight more than I like all them long nights in the winter.
Yeah.
So, but it is nice to, you wake up on Sunday morning and it's 6 o'clock and you can go right back to 5 and sleep another hour.
That's right. That's right. Listen, you enjoy your day up there.
You have a good one. Be careful. We'll catch you later.
See you, Brenda. Bye-bye. That's the County Report out of Union Mills. It's 39 minutes after 7. You know, when you need a plumber, you want someone with a reputation of getting right out to you and getting the job done for you the right way. That'll be Olmsted Plumbing. Since 1973, the Olmsted family has been serving homeowners and builders with the best of service. From unclogging a drain to replacing fixtures and appliances to remodeling jobs, their top quality work, fair prices, and punctual service has made them the area's leading plumbing firm. Eric and Chad are continuing that family tradition, and they'd like to serve you. Call 245-7302. Experience plus equipment equals excellence. Olmsted Plumbing at 245-7302. More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year, and if you or a loved one experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. That's why the emergency department at Rutherford Regional Health System is a chest pain accredited facility. What does that mean to you? It means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attacks. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to safe quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com. The entire team at Crow's Funeral Home and Cremation Services can help you with options available. They will help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved one. During this time, it's important to turn to someone you can trust and depend on. Crow's Mortuary and Crow's Mortuary and Crematory has a long history of trust and dependability. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory. That's 286-2304. Our next stop is the big city of Ellenboro, and we have Luther Gilligan on the phone to tell us all the news from over there that's been happening. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing
There's
well.
a whole lot going on, but we don't have a whole lot going on tonight, Jack.
Oh,
Have recruiters everywhere. Passing out candy. I want to pass that one, need one. Pass that one, need one.
Hey, listen, you stay here so that you won't scare those kids when they come to your door.
Well, I put on a mask, but I don't scare them so bad. I hide behind the door. They're going to be having a big Halloween carnival at the Bethel Church that night. It's just started at 6 o'clock down the Family Life Center. They're going to be having hot dog something. They're going to be having games and all. Going to be having inflatable outlets. And one of them get a patch of house to slide in the wall. So once invited, just come on out and have that. And the fire department said they had plenty of candy to pass that night, so all the kiddies could stop by there and get candy and have all that stuff. Have a good time. Let's see, the fire department, they had 2 calls. Yesterday had one tree down up in Old 74, and then had one come in a structure part, but wasn't anything to it. So, but they're quiet this morning. Nothing going on with them. Just going on where just middle of the week, everybody trying to get up, middle down with the bill on a downhill slide for another weekend. And see, we won't always have birthday day. Will Park, he's having one today. And also Greg Blanton's having birthday days. So these 2 men had a great day and enjoy their day. And you let me know what's going on down here. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I hope to see you then, and you have a great day as well. I'll see you then.
All right, take care now.
Bye. That's the Ellenboro Report with Luther Gilligan reporting in. It's 42 minutes after 7. And time to take your birthday calls. The phone lines are cleared out for birthdays and anniversaries for this 31st day of October. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31, except leap year, and that's February. Of course, you can call yours in now, 287-3356. I don't know why I go off on these wild tangents like that. It's just something in the coffee, I guess. But we'll give away some Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in just a moment. Let me remind you, though, for the best in laundry and dry cleaning, trust your clothes to Folks Cleaners. Professional cleaning every time. To look your best, drop them off at Rockwood Plaza. Got one-day service. Drop them off over there this morning. You can pick them up tomorrow. And they have a drive-up window convenience as well. Look your best. We clothes cleaned at Folks Cleaners in Forest City. You'll be glad you did.
The Recliner Center is happy to introduce new styles of Spring Air mattresses. Some come with the cool gel that you're going to love. Remember the days when you could flip your mattress? Well, Spring Air is now offering the flippable mattress. Check out these for a really great night's sleep. The Recliner Center is needing to make room for some new styles of lift chairs, recliners, and sofas, and you're going to get some special deals on the floor models and extra inventory in the store. Now, you always know you get the best deals in town at the Recliner Center, and now's the best time to go shopping. Check on the inventory of new recliners, sofas, and lift chairs coming in. Now, some of the styles have a new water-repellent fabric. Water beads up instead of soaking into the fabric. Leave it to the Recliner Center to offer you the best choices and best prices. Ask to see the new wall hugger style furniture. Hours are Wednesday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 2. The Recliner Center on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
It's time for you to test drive the affordable, fuel-efficient Ford Fusion from Sisk Family Ford in Forest City. Family-owned Sisk Ford can put you into the car you want with a payment plan you can appreciate. If it's a truck you want, get the Ford truck that's breaking records in sales. Ask about why the sales department is being bragged on with each and every sale that they make. They love your business at Sisk Family Ford, and it shows. New and used automobiles and an award-winning service department makes Sisk Family Ford the choice for so many. Step up to Ford today. Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
We're taking birthdays and anniversaries in right now, 287-3356. Hey, listen, you can stop into the famous drop-in food store for 1 chicken breast, 6 wedges, and a roll for $3.99 a box. Isn't that great? And you can stop on your way home from school for a kid-sized slushie or a for-real milkshake. You need something to tide them over till supper? Try the kids' meal. 6 chicken bites, a corn dog or hot dog, 3 wedges, and a 12-ounce fountain drink for just $3.19. You can't find food like that any place, price like that. Stop in for a delicious 99-cent 12-ounce cup of coffee this morning. All these great deals and more await you at the drop-in food store near you. Come on, drop in.
Health insurance is complicated, and with healthcare reform on the way, it's not getting any simpler. If you've got questions, we've got agents. Your local Farm Bureau insurance agent can walk you through the changes and offer you the right healthcare plan with the right benefits for you. Healthcare may be changing, but our superior service isn't. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Barbara Bennett up in Green Hill. Barbara's celebrating today. Also, Leah Buckley and Mark Crane, Tony and Tammy Hepner's anniversaries today, and Joanne Airwood's having a birthday. Also, Stephanie Williams Bostic lives in Forest City. Haley McNeely is 27 up in Sunshine. Tim and Myra Thompson over in Bostic, 33 years wedded. Greg Blanton, I guess it is, and Rusty McMahon works for the town of Forest McMillan. Oh, I'm sorry, Rusty McMillan works for the town of Forest City, also is celebrating a birthday. So I wish all of you a great, big, happy birthday. And somebody whose name's been called in will win some donuts, Davis Daylight Donuts from Granny B's this morning, right here on WCAB.
A group of Scottish fishermen were relaxing at a popular seaside inn following a hard day at sea. One of the men was describing a catch of fish and particularly how big they were. As he spread his arms out to show the size, a waitress walked by with a pot of tea. The storyteller hit the pot of tea and splattered its contents on the newly painted white wall. A large, ugly brown stain was now located directly in the middle of the wall. The proprietor expressed his disgust. "The stain will never come out. I will have to repaint the entire wall." "Maybe not," came the voice of a stranger from somewhere in the back of the room. "Let me work with the stain and see what I can do." The man took the box he had with him and went up to the wall. Out of the box he took pencils, brushes, and some glass jars of paint. He began to sketch some lines around the stained area and then began to fill it in with his paints. When he finished his work, the ugly stain on the wall had been beautifully blended into an outdoor picture of a large buck with a magnificent rack of antlers. The stained wall had become a thing of beauty. God is like the master painter. He wants to take our stained and tarnished lives and make them into masterpieces. We may despair that nothing can be done to repair our broken lives, but that's when we hear the voice from behind that says, "Let me try. I can help you." This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to confident living.
And a big congratulations going out to Haley McNeely of Sunshine, 27-year-old lady who won the Daylight Donuts this morning from Granny B's. So let's stop by and pick that certificate up when you can and enjoy those delicious Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. Coming up next hour, we do not have a political interview today. I set it up that way to give us a little break in there, but we will start all over again with that November the 1st, and we'll start with the sheriff's candidates on November the 1st. And first candidate up will be Jason Weiss, Democrat candidate running for sheriff. And then on the 2nd, it'd be Freddie Uden, an unaffiliated candidate running for sheriff. And then on the 5th, be Chris Francis, the Republican candidate running for re-election as sheriff. All that's happening here on WCAB. And 8:30 this morning, the Word of Faith continues to give their side of the story about all the accusations made out about them, and you'll find that very interesting if you'll tune in and listen to that 8:30 each morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Meanwhile, we'll enjoy some of the music from our vault of music from the classic oldies on 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Some of the music you'll hear right after 9 o'clock. Boom, 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 boom.
If I give my heart to you, will you handle it with care? Will you always treat me tenderly and in every way be fair? If I give my heart to you, will you give me all your love? Will you swear that you'll be true to me by the light that shines above? And will you sigh with me when I'm sad? Smile with me when I'm glad, and always be as you are with me tonight. Think it over and be sure. Please don't answer till you do. When you promise all those things to me, then I'll give my heart to you. And will you sigh with me when I'm sad? Smile with me when I'm glad, and always be as you are with me tonight. Think it over and be sure. Please don't answer till you do. When you promise all those things to me, then I'll give my heart to you.
WCAB News on I'm Mike Rayleigh. A Greene County deputy was treated and released after he was shot by a suspect who was wanted and ended up in a high-speed chase on Tuesday. Deputy Philip Heck was reportedly shot in the arm by Devin Bigler. WITN's Edward Sheehy has more.
Heck was grazed in the arm with a bullet before officers then fired back, hitting Bigler multiple times. Bigler then had to be transported to Vidant Medical Center.
President Trump's crusade to end birthright citizenship could be more about getting his supporters out to vote next week. Wei Zhang has more from the White House.
President Trump first mentioned putting an end to so-called birthright citizenship when he rolled out his immigration plan as a candidate back in 2015. But since then, he has not made it a top agenda item, leading critics to suspect he's doing it now to rally Republicans to the polls.
Healthcare is a top issue for Democrats and Republicans this midterm. Nancy Cordes reports from Miami that President Trump wants to change the conversation to immigration.
President Trump is campaigning for Republicans here in Florida today. He's been trying to change the conversation to immigration, an issue where Republicans think that they have the edge.
In a Tuesday hearing, a judge accepted former Buncombe County Assistant Manager John Creighton's guilty plea. He's pleading guilty to a charge related to demanding gifts and trips in exchange for giving out county business, among other charges. His lawyer, Christopher Fialco, tells WLOS News in Asheville.
Sometimes good people do bad things. My client made some mistakes in his last few years working for the county. He's been trying to make up for it for the last year by cooperating and helping the government's investigation, and he'll continue to do so.
One man was arrested on Tuesday, and authorities are seeking a second in a fatal weekend shooting at a farm in northern Orange County. Xavier DeAndre Gibson was arrested in Graham on a murder charge and was being held without bond in the Orange County Jail. You're listening to NCN News.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Soldiers from the 18th Airborne Corps of Fort Bragg have been deployed to the U.S.-Mexico border. Deployments began Monday, and more than 5,000 troops sent to the border are scheduled to be there by the end of the week. General Terrence O'Shaughnessy, the commander of U.S. Northern Command.
We're bringing 3 medium-lift helicopter companies in. These are aircraft equipped with the latest technology. They're enhanced with optics. They have NVGs. They have sensors that will allow them to operate at night. They can fast rope down if they need to.
The Office of Special Counsel Robert Mueller is asking the FBI to investigate a possible smear campaign against him.
In a statement, his office says it learned of allegations that women were offered money to make false claims about Mueller and immediately referred the matter to the FBI. The statement didn't specify what those claims were. A Republican operative, Jack Berkman, denies involvement after reports suggested he was behind this alleged plot. But he says he will soon reveal a sexual assault claim against Mueller from a credible accuser. Berkman has promoted right-wing conspiracy theories in the past. He tells CBS News he never paid anyone to make allegations.
Police in Charlotte have arrested a man in connection with a 26-year-old sexual assault case. Kenneth McElwine is charged with first-degree kidnapping and second-degree rape. There's a warning to be careful with kids tonight.
A new study of U.S. traffic data finds a 43% higher risk of pedestrian deaths on Halloween than on any other night in the fall. Trick-or-treaters aged 4 to 8 are most at risk. The lead researcher says moms and dads should put reflectors on costumes, make sure their children are carrying flashlights or glow sticks, and remind them to watch out for cars when they cross streets. More than 38,000 people have now petitioned President Trump to move Halloween to Saturdays to make it safer. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Pittsburgh says goodbye again today to victims of the synagogue attack. 3 more will be laid to rest. ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega has more after the president paid his respects in Pittsburgh.
Clearly, the president and first lady were moved by what they saw. They were with his Jewish son-in-law, Jared Kushner, their daughter Ivanka, who converted to Judaism. They were arm in arm with the rabbi as they walked into the vestibule of the synagogue. And the first lady and the president left stones outside for each of the 11 victims to honor in the Jewish tradition of honoring the dead.
Pittsburgh divided over the president's visit, with some protesting and others calling it good that he made the trip. Later today, the president will turn his attention back to next week's midterms.
President Trump hits the campaign trail tonight, kicking off his final massive push to next week's midterm elections. He holds a rally in the Fort Myers, Florida area to support Republican Senate candidate Rick Scott and gubernatorial candidate Ron DeSantis. Both are locked in very tight races. The president will travel to 8 states, holding 11 rallies between now and next Tuesday, what administration officials are describing as an unprecedented presidential blitz.
That's ABC's Karen Travers at the White House. An alleged plot targeting special counsel Robert Mueller is now under investigation. ABC's Andy Field.
Justice Department sources say a woman claims Republican lobbyist Jack Berkman offered her thousands of dollars to make sexual misconduct and work harassment claims against special counsel Robert Mueller. The woman contacted several reporters about the alleged plot, saying she worked with Mueller at a law firm more than 30 years ago.
Berkman in a statement says he never paid anyone to bring up these allegations and says someone is trying to smear him. About 800 troops headed to the southern border to support the Border Patrol agents. They've now arrived in San Antonio. And searchers in the water off Indonesia say they may have picked up pings from the black boxes from the Lion Air jet that crashed earlier this week. You're listening to ABC News.
Oil and gas investments involve a high degree of risk and are suitable only for qualified SEC-accredited investors. If you're an SEC-defined accredited investor getting ready to do your taxes and wish you had more deductions, you can take action now and start planning for 2018 with a 100% IRS-approved deduction. Invest with Encore Energy. If you're a high-net-worth SEC-defined accredited investor who's interested in participating directly with a proven operator and are qualified to make an investment of at least $250,000, then please call Encore Energy. 800-803-8511. 800-803-8511.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
The man accused of putting suspected pipe bombs in the mail is going to face more charges. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
In a letter to the judge, federal prosecutors called Cesar Sayoc's alleged mail bomb campaign domestic terrorism and said he is likely to face additional charges and increased penalties. They said Sayoc conducted internet searches related to the intended recipients of his improvised devices, many of which contained energetic material with explosive qualities, and several of which contained shards of glass that could only have been intended, prosecutors said, to maximize harm.
One of Boston's most famous mobsters, dead. ABC's Gio Benitez says police are investigating what happened in federal prison.
The notorious Boston gangster Whitey Bulger, who had a role in at least 11 murders, killed in a West Virginia prison, found dead at 8:20 Tuesday morning, just hours after he had been transferred to the prison. Police radio capturing the mayhem.
You're going to be responding to the maximum security. They advise CPR in progress.
Now the question, was the killing a mob hit? An investigation is underway.
California power company Southern California Edison now says some of its equipment was likely part of the cause of the Thomas fire last year. That's the second biggest wildfire in California history. And just in time for Halloween, the corpse flower is ready to bloom at Dartmouth College. Botanists at the New Hampshire School have decorated the flower, which smells like some combination of dead things, trash, and dirty diapers with bats and spiders. This is ABC News.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. With a call to ATA, you can stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, call ATA to see if you qualify. 800-805-1055. That's 800-805-1055. 800-805-1055.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
North Carolina Tractor Supply, your Massey Ferguson dealer in Rutherfordton, has some really great ideas this year. This could be the year for you to get that Massey Ferguson you've been wanting. Stop by today and see what Massey Ferguson and Phil Sheehan at North Carolina Tractor Supply have for you. Check to see if you qualify for 0% financing. Today could be your day at North Carolina Tractor Supply, Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton.
Well, our Halloween should bring mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies around the area today as some high clouds move through from time to time. It'll be mild, highs around 67 to 73. We'll call it fair to partly cloudy tonight, not as cool as the last few nights with lows in the upper 40s to mid 50s. Then we'll run breezy and warmer Thursday with more clouds than sun. We can't rule out a few isolated afternoon or evening showers. Highs tomorrow 70 to 76. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Mike, we have 39 degrees currently here at WCAB. Highs around 72, getting up to that today with mostly sunny skies with wind gusting to 16 miles per hour. But by tonight, we're looking at 54 degrees, warmer than we are right now with only a light wind by 7 miles per hour and be partly cloudy tonight. It's going to be a beautiful day in the neighborhood today on this Wednesday morning, the 31st day of October. Now, we got some rain coming our way by maybe Thursday evening, Thursday night, Friday night, but clearing out of here again for Saturday. Mostly sunny on Saturday with 63 for the daytime high, dropping back to 39 Saturday night, 63 again Sunday, and 43 for the overnight low on Sunday. And that's a pretty good weekend forecast for us right here from WCAB 100.9 FM and 590 AM. WCAB. Haley McNeely was our Daylight Donut winner this morning. Haley's 27, lives up in Sunshine, so we want to wish her a happy birthday and congratulations on being the winner of the Daylight Donuts, courtesy of Granny B's. It's 7 minutes after 8 o'clock. The Sheriff's Report will be aired again in just a few minutes. Right now, though, we've got some of these words.
Early voting has started with the final election day, November the 6th. We must unite. This election is about the caravan, about the criminal conduct against Judge Kavanaugh, tax cuts, law and order, and common sense. In order to protect and defend what President Trump and the Republican leadership have accomplished the last 20 months, we must vote Republican. The Democrats have become the party of resist at all costs and cannot be trusted with the power they want. They will rescind the personal income tax breaks that we now enjoy and will raise taxes. The 50% increase in the 401k retirement fund will be in jeopardy. The wall will be discontinued and sanctuary cities will continue. A united vote for Republicans will show the media and the left that the majority like a thriving America and want it to continue. Vote Republican today. This announcement paid for by Ken Staggs.
The first part of 2018 has been a banner year at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service for people pre-planning and prepaying for their services. The economy has taken a toll on many banks and insurance-related growth products, but now Columbian Insurance Company has partnered with Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service for their pre-need products, many of which have a good growth and interest potential. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service in Bostic. Call 248-1234.
Do you need some extra money in your pocket? Try Insurance Service Associates, your local independent agent. We can shop your auto and home insurance with several companies to get you better coverage and the best rate. Insurance Service Associates at 127 East Trade Street in Forest City for auto, home, or commercial insurance. More choices, better coverage, best rate. That's Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301.
Did you know that Rutherford County's largest pediatrics practice has 5 providers to serve the children and youth of this area? And even better, Rutherford Children's Care is welcoming new patients. With 3 physicians and 2 mid-level providers, the group is available to examine, diagnose, and treat patients from birth to age 18. Rutherford Children's Care is conveniently located at 162 Commercial Drive in Forest City, just behind Big Dave's Restaurant. To schedule an appointment, call Rutherford Children's Care at 828-287-9325.
This is County Commissioner Alan Toney, District 5, serving all of Rutherford County. I'm a small business owner, married to Kathy, and we have 2 sons. We are members of Golden Valley Missionary Methodist Church. It has been a pleasure to work for you these past 4 years, and we feel good about some of the accomplishments. Let me share some of the things the commissioners have been working on to make Rutherford County stronger economically and safer. In the past 4 years, we have had a commitment to create almost 1,000 jobs with more diverse opportunities. We have greatly enhanced our public safety communications and no property tax increase. It is important to have a commissioner that has a vision for the county and keeps the emphasis on what's best for the citizens, and a good steward of your money, and a commissioner that believes in transparency in local government. Let me continue working for you and your family. I am asking for your vote, and let's keep Rutherford County moving forward. This is Alan Toney. This announcement paid for by the committee to elect Alan Toney.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
10 minutes after 8 o'clock, some news from here and there this morning as we scan other sources of newspapers. In the magistrate's office, Judge David S. Kayer in the federal courthouse in Asheville yesterday, Ken Covington appeared and pled guilty to fraud conspiracy to common wire fraud in exchange for prosecutors' word that they won't pursue additional charges against him and his wife. Covington intended in court that he had conspired with others to commit wire fraud, that he had been aware that what he was doing was illegal, and that he willingly became a member of such conspiracy. Anyway, he pled guilty in that court yesterday. Former Tryon fire chief pled guilty. Former Tryon fire chief and town manager Joey Davis entered a guilty plea in federal court Tuesday morning in connection with using town credit cards to pay former Tryon Commissioner Roy Miller's personal bills in 2016. Davis pleaded guilty to misprioritizing, which is defined as having knowledge of the actual commission of a felony cognizable by a court of the United States, and conceals that does not, as soon as possible, make known the same to some judge or other person in civil or military authorities. He was charged. David and Miller were both federally charged. April 2017, Davis was charged with conspiracy to commit federal program fraud, and Miller was charged with conspiracy to commit federal program fraud, extortion under color of official right, and witness tampering. Miller pleaded guilty in April this year and was sentenced to 41 months in federal prison early this month. Davis' sentence's hearing has not yet been had. Has not been set yet. So there'll be more about that forthcoming. Well, North Carolina early voting ballots. North Carolina early voting ballots already exceed 2014 total. With just a few days left, voting remaining total already has cast more ballots than it did during the last midterms in 2014. The North Carolina Election Board announced over 1.22 million people had voted at early voting sites or by traditional mail-in ballots as of Monday afternoon. It's increased even more since yesterday. Do not have those numbers yet. But board spokesman Pat Gunn said the 2014 early vote total of 1.18 million was exceeded earlier in the day. Early in-person voting began October 17th and ends this coming Saturday. There were only 10 such days in 2014 when the U.S. Senate race was atop the ballot. 6 constitutional referendum and 4 court seats are the statewide races this year. Final 2014 voter turnout was 44%, or 2.9 million votes. Turnout so far this year is more than 17%, and numbers continue to grow. Here in Rutherford County, voters are turning out to vote in heavy duration at all the early polling places, which are 2 of them. One of them is the Rutherford County Annex Building, and the other one is at the Board of Elections. Well, on this date, the 304th day of 2018, there are 61 days left this year. Can you believe it? 61 days left. On October 31st, on this day, 1984, Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated by 2 Sikh security guards. On this date in 1517, Martin Luther sent his 95 theses denouncing what he saw as an abuses of the Catholic Church, especially the sale of indulgences, to the Archbishop of Mainz, Germany. By some accounts, Luther also posted the thesis on the door of the Castle Church in Wittenberg, marking the start of the Protestant Reformation. In 1864, Nevada became the 36th state as President Abraham Lincoln signed a proclamation. 1926, magician Harry Houdini died in Detroit of peritonitis resulting from a ruptured appendix. 1941, the Navy destroyer U.S. Reuben James was torpedoed by a German U-2 boat off Iceland with the loss of some 100 lives, even though the United States had not yet entered World War II. Work was completed on Mount Rushmore National Memorial in South Dakota, 1941. 1961, the body of Joseph Stalin was removed from Lenin's tomb as part of the Soviet Union's de-Stalinization drive. On this date in 1968, President Lyndon B. Johnson ordered a halt to all U.S. bombing in North Vietnam, saying he hoped for a fruitful peace negotiations. 1974, the Queen single Bohemian Rhapsody was released in the United Kingdom by EMI Records. 1992, on this date, Pope John Paul II formally proclaimed that the Roman Catholic Church had erred in condemning the astronomer Galileo for holding that the Earth was not the center of the universe. 1998, a genetic study was released suggesting President Thomas Jefferson did in fact father at least one child by his slave Sally Heming. 10 years ago, President George W. Bush signed an executive order restoring the Libyan government's immunity from terror-related lawsuits and dismissing pending compensation cases. Pulitzer Prize-winning author Studs Terkel died in Chicago on this date, aged 96. 5 years ago, on this date, the Federal Aviation Administration issued new guidelines allowing airline passengers to keep their electronic devices turned on throughout the entire flight, but not to talk on their cell phones. The Federal Appeals Court ruled that most of Texas' tough new abortion restrictions could take effect immediately. 1 year ago today, on this date, 8 people were killed when a man drove a truck along a bike path in New York City in an attack that authorities immediately labeled terrorism. The driver was identified by authorities as Uzbek immigrant Safulo Sepov, was shot and wounded by police. His trial is set for October 2019. You have to wonder why it takes so long, doesn't you? Netflix said it was suspending production on House of Cards following sexual harassment allegations against its star, Kevin Spacey. Spacey would later be fired from the show and the production resumed without him. Wendy Williams passed out during a live broadcast of her syndicated chat show. She's been wearing a Statue of Liberty Halloween costume and told the audience minutes later that she had become overheated in it. Let's see some of the people celebrating birthdays today. Actress Lee Grant's 93. Former astronaut Michael Collins is 88. Former CBS anchorman Dan Rather is 87. Actor Ron Riflick is 80. Actress Sally Kirkland is 77. Some of these folks I don't even know. Olympic gold medal long-distance runner Frank Shorter is 71. Actress Deidre Hall is 71. TV show host Jane Pauley is 68. Let's see who else I might recognize here. Country singer Daryl Worley is 54. Actor Rob Snyder is 54. Actor-comedian Rob O'Malley is 53. Let's see, who else? Some of these folks you might recognize, maybe not. Thought for today from John Keats. Even a proverb is no proverb to you till your life has illustrated it. Pretty good, right? 18 minutes after 8 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning edition of the Morning Wake-Up Call. We hope you are already off to a great start. Let's see what's going on here. Talk about violence. In the left is always saying that the right is the reason there's so much violence. They're so hypocritical they won't admit to the fact that they're leading out in a lot of this violence. For instance, New York signs on the streets all over New York call for Trump supporters, call them trash, who must be purged from the city. Over the past few days, New Yorkers have been shocked and appalled by new signs claiming to be from the city sanitation department, identifying Trump supporters and socially conservative Christians as trash who don't belong in the Big Apple. Last week, posters bearing the message, "Keep NYC Trash Free," and the logo of the New York City Sanitation Department began appearing on buildings and trash cans in New York City. One feature, a stereotypical redneck with the Confederate flag tattoo holding a Chick-fil-A drink cup. The other shows a woman holding a Bible. Both are wearing President Donald Trump's iconic red Make America Great Again caps with a no symbol over the faces. Massalil reports that a third poster takes aim at Boston Red Sox fans. All the posters are believed to have been put up on Wednesday. Corinne Williams tweeted, "I'm a Christian woman who voted for real Donald Trump. According to people of Manhattan, that makes me trash." These posters were not created or issued by the Department of Sanitation. It's just people on the left who feel like it's their calling in life to be critical and call people names because they happen to support Donald Trump. And they think our side is causing all the hatred. Somebody needs to take a looking glass and look at themselves in the mirror. Here's David Lancaster. He gave us the sheriff's report this morning, and we recorded it for broadcast at this time. David Lancaster.
Past 24 hours, had 131 calls for service, 12 arrests, and 179 currently in the jail. As far as incident reports go, we have a breaking and enter and a larceny after breaking and entering reported by Laura Gallman of the Creek Road area in Ruffton. She's reporting that prescription medication, diamond stud earrings, and a yellow gold ring with a diamond setting was stolen. We have a breaking and entering a motor vehicle, larceny after breaking and entering, and misdemeanor larceny reported by Marcus Gaines Ledford of the Old Caroline Road area. He's reporting that his truck was broke into and it had a Samsung Galaxy S3 watch stolen, a motorcycle key and key fob, and a Morphe battery pack. As far as arrests go, we have Javier Jose Afanador arrested for larceny of a motor vehicle, failure to appear on misdemeanor. He had a $8,500 secured bond. Brent William Cook was arrested for communicating threats. He has a $500 unsecured bond. Tori Lynn Hines was arrested for misdemeanor larceny and second-degree trespass, $500 secured bond. Jamie Helen Morrow was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor and failure to comply. She has a $1,895 bond. That's all I've got.
Greg Gallagher is the candidate for North Carolina House 112 who understands the needs of Rutherford County. The General Assembly, in an effort to save money at the state level, has shifted the burden for schools, police, first responders, fire, and many more vital services to the counties and local governments, hoping to lower state taxes. These services and infrastructure require to be adequately maintained, and it will be the counties that will be forced to raise taxes. We need someone in Raleigh that won't get swept up into a party caucus bent on a power grab. Greg Gallagher will focus on the citizens of Rutherford County and fight for the things we value: good jobs, quality schools, and safe communities. Vote for Greg Gallagher on Tuesday, November the 6th. God bless all the candidates. Paid for by Gallagher for North Carolina House.
Hi, this is Haley from the gift shop at Smith's Drugs in downtown Forest City. We have a huge inventory of fall items that include dresses, cardigans, leggings, and shoes. Plus, we have several new books from local authors that would make great gifts for anyone. Our summer items are marked 30% off the lowest ticketed item, so come in the gift shop at Smith's Drugs in Forest City and see what we have for you.
Sports is up next at 8:25. Following that, 8:30 this morning, the Word of Faith speaks out right here live in the Blue Room, WCAB.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. A big night for Tony Parker. Coming off the bench, he had 24 points and 11 assists as the Hornets beat the Miami Heat 125-113. Coach James Borrego.
This is a four-time NBA champion, a lot of pride, wants to win. This is why we signed him.
Parker talked about having a big night after he was rumored to have been upset following Borrego's decision to keep him out of Saturday's game against the 76ers.
I understand the big picture, and I trust JB's judgment. I think it's just my competitive. I just want to win, and I really want the Hornets to make the playoff this year.
Tony wasn't upset with me. He understood what we're trying to do. As a competitor, he wanted to play, but I think we saw the effects of that rest tonight.
It was a special teams extravaganza last night at PNC Arena. Carolina and Boston traded a pair of power play goals apiece through the first two periods. Then Brad Marchand scored his second goal of the night in the third. And the Bruins continued their dominance of the Hurricanes 3-2. Canes head coach Rod Brindamore.
We just got to stay positive. The hard part is, guys have really played, I think, pretty well. And, our record doesn't really reflect where I think the level of our play. And that's hard to sell to the guys that, to keep doing what we're doing. So we just have to stick with it.
Carolina hasn't beaten Boston in regulation time since April of 2013. The college postseason picture got its first snapshot in focus last night.
Alabama, Clemson, LSU, and Notre Dame are the top four teams in the first college playoff rankings of the season. Michigan checks in fifth, while Georgia, Oklahoma, Washington State, Kentucky, and Ohio State round out the top 10. Undefeated UCF opens up at number 12. After the announcement of this week's rankings, committee chair Rob Mullen stressed the importance of wins against teams with winning records. LSU has the most with 6. UCF has none. A shakeup is all but guaranteed before next week's rankings come out as number 1 and number 3 square off Saturday night when Alabama visits LSU. I'm Denny Cow.
This is NCN Sports.
Continental Tire presents our annual Big Tailgate Tour.
It's another big game as Florida State visits NC State on Saturday. Look for our game day tents and fun across from Carter Finley Stadium at Backyard Bistro, where you can tailgate, talk football, or try the Continental Tire Toss from noon to 3, leading up to the 3:30 kickoff.
Pick up free koozies, t-shirts, and more from Sport Clips, Lose It and Lose It, and Continental Tire. Remember to drive with care on your Continental tires and experience the ultimate MVP haircut at Sport Clips.
Tailgate with us, BigTailgateTour.com.
Hurricane Florence disrupted the lives of many North Carolinians, and with Election Day approaching, we want to make sure those affected understand their options for voting. You can register and vote during the early voting period, October 17th through November 3rd, or you can vote on Election Day, November 6th. You may also request your ballot by mail. Know your options so your voice is heard this fall. Learn more details at ncsbe.gov/Florence. Sponsored by the North Carolina State Board of Elections and Ethics Enforcement.
A person familiar with the decision says the Cleveland Cavaliers have been selected by the NBA to host a 2022 All-Star Game at Quicken Loans Arena, which is receiving a massive renovation. Cleveland last hosted the event in 1997 when the league honored its top 50 players. 7-time All-Star Chris Sale will be back to help Boston defend their World Series championship. The Red Sox exercised their 2019 option on the left-hander, who will make $15 million in the final season of a 5-year contract he signed with the White Sox. He'll become an unrestricted free agent in 2020. Demaryius Thomas will be playing in Sunday's Broncos-Texans game at Denver, but he'll be on the other side of the stadium. Houston acquired the 5-time Pro Bowler from the Broncos for a 4th-round pick and a swap of 7th-round selections in the 2019 draft. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Well, our Halloween should bring mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies around the area today as some high clouds move through from time to time. It'll be mild, highs around 67 to 73. We'll call it fair to partly cloudy tonight, not as cool as the last few nights with lows in the upper 40s to mid 50s. Then we'll run breezy and warmer Thursday with more clouds than sun. We can't rule out a few isolated afternoon or evening showers. Highs tomorrow 70 to 76. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Thank you very much, Mike Moss. It is now 40 degrees, and it's going to be another beautiful day here in the neighborhood. Another great getting up morning here in the foothills. And be sure tonight, please watch out for the kiddos if you're out and about. 29 minutes after 8 o'clock, this is WCAB Rutherfordton. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning, Rutherford County. It's good to be with you again today this morning. We are so glad that you're listening in. Today we have Dorothea Davies back from Monday. She came and began to share a little bit about her testimony, her story, about the goodness of God and what God has done in her life. For those of you that did not listen on Monday, Dorothea is my mom, and she's 95 years old. You would know it if you met her. Those of you that are viewing in, you might have a hard time believing it, but she turns 95 next week. And Dorothea is a precious lady that has had the love of God in her heart as long as I've known her, and even years before that. She grew up having a real heart to want to know God, and as she got older, came into places of serving Jesus and loving God and loving to serve God's people. And she started her story on Monday and really didn't even get halfway through. Of course, 95 years old, it takes a while to get through the many chapters of somebody's life when they're 95. But she asked to come back and pick up where she left off on Monday. And how could you deny that to her? She wanted to share more about the goodness of God and what God has brought her through in her life. She's had some challenges that she's going to share with you today. And I think you're going to be blessed to see how this lady has allowed God to move in her life through the years. So, Mom, go ahead, get started.
Thank you, Connie, and thank you. And thank you for listening. I appreciate you all that tune in on us and that we can talk to you. Well, my life started with what I would call some abuse. It happened to me in child life. And any of you who have had a difficulty time in child life, you could call it abuse. It could be severe or whatever, but it bothered you and it just hung on you. And here you find as you go older and older and older, it's still there. And that's what happened with me. It was not that strong. My parents provided very well for me. But at the same time, my mother continually argued and fought, and I could never please her, never do anything right. And my father put up with it, and I thought that was terrible. I don't understand why he put up with it, but he did. And then also I found out later in child life that in his business in the market where he was selling poultry, he was stealing from the customers. He would put a chicken up on the scale, up on the to weigh it, and then he would read the figure as to what it would cost, and he would always add maybe a quarter or so. Now you have to remember, this is way back in the 1930s that this happened, and it was a lot of money, and that bothered me a lot, and I used to plead with my father to stop that, and he never would. So that put a wedge between us. I never really felt the love and the respect for him like I would have, if he had been loving. It's so important to give love to children when they're young like that, and just to care for, just let them know that you correct them in a loving way. Be loving to them. And because these things can come in, they can have thoughts, and they stick with them. Years and years go by. I mean years. I was 80, and I was still being stuck with all this kind of stuff. But you see, other people have deeper things bothering them. Maybe you. I don't know. But you need to know that it started because of the thoughts you took and you held on to. So I realized when I was 8 years old that when my mother told me I'd never amount to anything at all. I'm not going to go into all that. But the thing is, that's when it locked into my heart that I'd never make it. Now, I don't know what I wasn't going to make, but I wasn't going to make it. And so that patterned my whole life. And so as I'm going all through life, I'm leaning to Jesus. I didn't know him, but I'm leaning to God. And I keep leaning to God and realizing there is a God. And I go off to church by myself. Nobody in the family goes, but I walked off and it happened to be an Episcopal church. So I began my church life and start moving in the ways of God. And then I found this young fellow, Chick Davies, and we became married. Now, I brought into my marriage junk thoughts that caused me to withdraw all the time, and yet he brought into the marriage. He was from a very, very poor home, and his mother bright with Jesus, openly singing, attending church, and just being so sweet, and a father who was bitter and used a whip on the children, and well, if he didn't like the dinner, he would turn the plate upside down and throw it on the floor and just cuss something terrible. I mean, he was really a strong, bitter man. So now we've come together into a marriage, and we love one another. But yet, his background and my background, we started clashing. And we couldn't really get to help one another. He couldn't help me, and I couldn't help him, and we stayed together all the time. We were married, almost 60 years, and but still there was nothing real sweet about our marriage
until the very end, and it got real sweet in the end.
Yeah, that's right. To the end.
And then tell us about what happened, though, with Curtis, because this is a key part of your life, of another thing that you had to deal with after you and Kurt had your first child.
Yes. Well, he was born in 48, and in 49 he had a hernia, and we had to take him to the hospital and for surgery. Well, in those days, they kept you in the hospital for a full week for a hernia. And not only that, there was no thought or preparation as to parents staying with the child or to help the child through anything. You just took the child to the hospital, and then you turned the child over to somebody, and then you had to leave. I mean, you stand outside the door, they close the door. Now you hear him crying. He's only 16 months old. And here he is screaming and screaming. Now, that's another thing about the hospital at that time. They always wore white. Doctors always had white smocks on down below their knees, white pants, white shoes. But the nurses, and another thing, there weren't any male nurses. They were all female nurses. And they had the white uniform, starched white uniform, and hose and shoes, and a white cap. So here's this white world the child is suddenly in for a week, and we couldn't even let him see us when we went to visit him. So now this is his experience now. It doesn't make any difference how young or how old you are. What's going to happen to you, and what's going to happen to your children, well, their children, and how you take care of them. Well, anyway, we couldn't do anything but have to just leave him there. But when we finally came to get him, he would have nothing to do with us, and that was the pattern for his life all the whole time he lived with us.
Now, he wasn't like that before he went in.
No.
He was a loving, very sweet child.
That's right.
And after this experience, something happened to him.
Yeah.
He thought he was abandoned.
Yeah, and that would affect the child.
That's right. And so he would have nothing to do with us. And we tried to get into his heart again, but we couldn't do it. We buy him, a tricycle, put him in a bunk bed right away. We tried all kinds of things, but we couldn't do it. We didn't know what to do. It was a heartache. And he gets to be a teenager, and now he's in his last year in high school, and he had a nervous breakdown. And that really turned me for a loop. And I cried out to God. I went into the bedroom and I just cried and cried out to God, And I was crying out to him. he said to me, trust and obey. And in fact, he said it over and over again for a whole Friday and Saturday. He kept telling me, trust and obey. Trust and obey. I mean, he just in a rhythm all the time. And I don't know why he thought he had to tell me so many times, but he did. And anyway, I thought, well, yeah, I'll just have to trust and obey, and I'll be all right. But then things started happening. I mean, he ran off to New York. Now, I didn't know he'd gone to New York. Nobody did. You know, we thought he was still in Baltimore, and because it was winter, it was cold, and he was gone for 4 months and 10 days, and so we just kept searching. The family and I have a daughter. Since that, after that, I had 2 children and 2 other children, a girl and a boy, and it bothered us so much the way Curtis was going, what was happening to him, that we just went through the city every chance we could get. We get others to go with us, and the church would pray, and we didn't know what to do.
The posters.
Yes, we made posters and everything. Everybody had a picture. Every officer had a picture of him. We knew he was in Baltimore City. But the whole time he's in New York, and he lived up there. And he told us about his experiences up there, where he 2 experiences he had where he almost died in Times Square. So anyway, that was bad, and he came back, and he got back because he was found in a telephone booth all curled up, and the police picked him up and called us, and we got him back. But that was one experience, but there were many after that. And this word, trust and obey, I'd say, but God says trust and obey. And sometimes it'd be so weak. I mean, I couldn't, it'd be so bad. I couldn't trust. But other times, I'd pick up strength, you see, and go on and trust, trying to trust. Now, we're in the Baptist church now. We moved down to the suburbs of Baltimore, South Baltimore. I'm in the Baptist church now, and I'm reading, and I'm in the Bible. By the way, I was so thankful for the Baptist because I found Jesus there the first time. No church before, none since a child when I went to church, had a sermon about Jesus. But there the sermon was. And I was so pleased. And we sang all the hymns, just like my mother-in-law did, because she used to live with us for a while. And sure enough, it was so rich. I thought I had it. I found it. Because I was always looking for something, there had to be more. I mean, up in Baltimore, I just knew it had to be more. And one of the churches, I can remember I put my arms around a little boy, and I could not comfort him. His father had a heart attack, and he was all upset and disturbed, and I had nothing I could say to him. I just couldn't say anything. I mean, here I am, big wheel, in the church and teaching Sunday school and this and that and all this business, and here I had nothing I could say. I went to that pastor afterward in that week, and I said, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. There's nothing. And he says, Dorothea, we have it all. Now you just settle yourself down. We just have it all. And I left there, and I thought, I just can't believe that. I've got to have help. And so that's when I drove to a Christian bookstore and got 3 books on prayer. And I'm searching. I know it has to do with prayer. I've got to get to the bottom of this. I've got to find it. So that's what I kept moving on. So, but I want to get back. I read the Bible, and I found that demons have, that people can have demons. And that's, if they had them at Jesus' time, they got them today too. And so that's when I thought I go I go to another Christian bookstore now, where my new neighborhood. I go to the Christian bookstore again to find out. And the girl was so sweet. And she says, oh, yes, we do. And so she gives me material to read about it. And she's in a charismatic movement. I don't know what this is all about. So she's telling me about this charismatic movement that's taking place up in Baltimore. And so I'm traveling with her way up to where I used to live. And there's only a handful of people there, but I'm in on the ground level of the Christian movement of all opening up. I thought, God, this is it. They do believe in prayer. They do believe that you can be healed. You do have demons. You can get deliverance. And I was so pleased. So that's where I was. But Curtis, I was anxious. Now, by the way, he's back in the hospital. And so I go to the hospital to tell him the good news. And he's agreeable if I could. So I get him out of the hospital and I take him for deliverance, and nothing happens. I had to wait and sit in the car while he was inside for an hour, and I don't know what took place in there, but that's what nothing seemed to show. But I keep going and going, and I found a man who was a Baptist minister, and he had discovered that people can have demons today. And so at that time they put him out of the Baptist church. So here he's living in Mayo, Maryland, which is a little southern town, and he's down there, and he's he and his wife opened up their little bungalow and would see us on Monday nights, and crowds would come in, and it was a rich time. And afterwards he'd have deliverance. Well, Curtis went, and the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and he always got deliverance. And then he got clean to the point where he knew that Jesus loved him. And he was so happy. He bounced around. He was so happy. Now, mind you, he never cared for us, the whole time he lived with us. Mm-hmm. But now, he was learning that he had a mom that loved him. And he used to hug me and tell me how beautiful I was. And, oh, let me look at you again, Mom. Oh, you are so sweet. And he'd squeeze me, and it was so good. And he would go up the steps, skipping the steps many times. And he was so full. And if he was late coming home, it was because he was with someone. He's helping somebody. And sure enough, if there's a car parked on the side of the road, he's going to pull over. And he was so good. This went on for months. We're so happy. Our family is so happy. But you see, if you don't know how to keep them out, they come back. And they come back many times more. And I have a scripture that this is what happened to him. In Luke 11:26, when the unclean spirit comes out of a person, it roams in search of a place to rest, and not finding any, it says, I will go back to my house, the person to which I came. And when it comes, it finds a place swept, which he had it all swept up and put in order. And then it goes and it brings 7 others, spirits, more evil than itself. And they go in to the person and live there. And the last set of that person becomes worse than the first.
Mom, give that scripture reference in case anybody wants to look that up. That's in
Luke chapter 11, verse 26.
Now, this is in the gospel. This is what the Bible says can happen to someone.
Yes.
And you experienced that firsthand with your son.
Yes, I did.
Absolutely.
Yes,
so
I
then
did.
Bring us up a little bit further than of what happened through the years, just real quick, because we are running out of time again.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what happened through the years with that experience.
Well,
that was significant.
Well, that was very bad. He had one horrible experience after another, where they come to the door and tell me he was dead. and we see him right away in the car, full of drugs, street drugs. He had tattoos put all over his body. Now wait a minute. This wasn't when like today's where people are putting tattoos on. I mean, you hardly ever saw him then, because that was back. He was many years ago.
And tell him some of the drugs, the street drugs that he actually got on, which would obviously make his condition much worse.
That's right.
Was it LSD?
LSD and speed.
Speed.
So those were street drugs.
Wouldn't eat because of speed, and he got skinny as a rail, and he would have LSD flashbacks. And then wherever he was when he had the flashbacks would be torment. One time we got a phone call. He was in Orlando, Florida, at Disney World, and he had a flashback. Of course, you see Mickey Mouse, 9 feet tall, and you're having LSD flashback. It did him in. It was terrible.
So these were horrible times, and we all suffered. And but it would be an end to it. God would come through, and it would be an end. And then we'd have a little time of peace, and we'd get ourselves together again, and another time. But that was bad. But I just want to tell you about that.
Bring us up to what happened, because where you were believing God, even in the midst of the worst, you were still holding on that somehow, some way, God would get to his heart. Tell us about what happened there just a few years ago when he was making some choices.
Okay. Then finally I got to the place where I said, God, you do it. I mean, I'm giving him to you. You have to get to a place. You say, well, God, I know you're going to heal him, but you got to bring him down here, because this church is full of healing for people. I mean, we're all sick. Everybody that's come here has been sick, and we're all getting healing. This is such a beautiful church, God. You got to bring him here. This is where we are, and bring him here. No. It's got to be 100%. God, do it. Just do it. You do it there, you do it here, but just do it. And mean it with all your heart. And I did. And she
finally surrendered. She finally had peace in her heart that she could trust God with his life, not just her life, but his life. And that's a hard thing for a mom that loves their child, to really just put the child in God's hands and say, he's yours. I trust you with his life. Tell her what happened.
Well, then he starts calling me up. He's up in Baltimore, and he starts calling me up, and he's asking me questions, and I'm answering them. And he calls me again, and he says, well, where are you going to find that in the Bible? And I tell him, and he's all right. So he looked that up, and then he'd tell me that how he enjoyed walking, going to get his food and walking back. He says, I have such a good time. I talk to Jesus going back, and we have such fellowship. And then he talks about the peace he has, and he talks about how he goes to this one and that one, and he talks about he tries to go to church, but they can't find a church to go to, and he always comes, he gives it up because he doesn't find the church that gives him what he needs in the Baltimore area. And so he gives that up again, and then he smokestack. He just smoke, and he got cancer, and then he decided that he was going to stick with Jesus, and he had a rough physical time, but he stuck in there with Jesus, and he became a Christian at the end, and I was so pleased.
He knew he was so desperate. He got to the place where he realized that he was desperate and he had made some wrong choices in his life. And he really at the very end, to start making things right, because he realized something was wrong. Something was desperately wrong. He didn't know he had cancer, but he knew, and you felt his heart coming to God. And I'll just finish up with a little part of that at the very end. Charles and I would go up to Maryland every weekend for a couple of months. Actually, Charles went many times. I went with him a couple of times. But I can remember the one time we went in there, and the doctors, at that time, we still didn't know that he had cancer. We just knew he was very sick. And we went into the room. They said that he was in a coma. His eyes were shut, no response at all. we went in and we began to sing, "Worthy, worthy are you, Lord, worthy to be thanked and praised and worshipped and adored." We began to sing that song as loud as we could sing it. It didn't matter who heard us. We were just singing, and the presence of God came in that room. He opened his eyes, and tears came down his face. And we could tell that he was responding to the love of God that day. And it wasn't but about a couple of weeks later that he finally passed and went on. The miracle of all of that was that in the midst of all of that, Mom had a hold of Jesus, and she had peace through all of that. And I remember the day that he passed. I'll never forget, Mom, when you looked at me and you said, because you knew he had made things right with God. And you looked at me and you said, "Connie, it is such a beautiful day." Such a beautiful day. And, you know, what God has brought Mom through, and especially with that, as long as I've known Mom, this was the thing that was her biggest heartache, was her son Curtis.
That's right.
Because of all that he suffered. And it is difficult. I'm sure. I've never seen a child suffer like what he suffered. But it's hard. And I know there might be people out there that are listening in to her story today, that you have children or close family members that you love very much that have gone through some hard times, and things that there's nothing you can do really in your own ability to help them. They just need Jesus. They need God. But trust and obey is what she lived on. As long as I knew her. I've known her 38, 40 years. I don't know. I met Curtis when I met her for the first time up in Baltimore when I went to visit the family, and that has been her song as long as I've known her, because of what she experienced with Curtis. But we hope, Mom, I know you might have a few more things to say, but we're running out of time. Is there one more last thing that you might want to share with them before we close up today?
I just want to say that I had to get to be 90 years old when I felt such peace and joy that had come into me. And all this old stuff that hung on me got washed away. And I had missed out on being a friend to my children and my grandchildren. I really did. And I found out that here they were, and I was sort of a stranger to them. But that all got washed away, and I got great-grandchildren. And I said, Lord, I want to treat them the way you want me to treat them, not the way I lived. And sure enough, they just multiply for me. And I like to do things for people, and I'm interested in people. I always have been. But so I don't think about how old I am. That's right. I just think about it's time to go.
And actually, she had a scripture she told us that she wanted to share that fits right into what she's trying to tell you right now. It's in
it's Ephesians.
Isaiah 46.
I thought you opened up to it.
Right here.
Right here.
Can you read it here, Mom?
Right.
Here, listen. Right here it is.
Isaiah 46.
I got it.
Has that got it? Okay.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. You do.
Yeah, I had another place in the Bible, and they were trying to switch my places. But the other place is Colossians 3:17, and down through the years, since I got to the Word of Faith, that verse has meant so much to me, and has kept me to just read it when you get home. But now this one is Isaiah 46, starting with the second part of verse 3. You who have been carried by me from your birth, and have been carried in my arms from the womb, even in your old age, I am he. And even in your advanced old age, I will carry you. I will make you. I have made you, and I will carry you. Be assured I will carry you, and I will save you. And that has been peace and joy.
That's right. Well, we want to thank you, Mom. Thank you for sharing your heart with us. And we hope that you enjoyed this testimony. We hope it brings you a lot of hope. You can hear the first part of her testimony at www.wordoffaithfellowship.com. .org, and any of our other testimonies that our people have shared with you over the last almost 12 months.